welcome back to my YouTube channel, Queening with Kai. It's your girl, Nakaya Perry here. And right here I have Stephania Perry, which is Christian's mom, so my mom.
That's right.
So this week we're going to be talking about like self-love and how she got to the point where she was able to believe in herself and, make it to the executive director position that she has now. So if you want to introduce yourself and a little bit about what you do.
Hello everybody, my name is Stephania Perry. I am the executive director of a nonprofit here in Carlisle called the Hope Station, which services, I don't say at risk, I say an underserved population here in the Carlisle area. I guess that's about it. Single mom, Christian's mother, Kai's mom now too.
Dre's mom.
Dre's mama. Well, I didn't forget about my baby, but I just figured, we talking about y'all, so that's why I said that.
So in other words, pretty much she's a boss. So, I guess what made you take the job at Hope Station? Like, how long have you been there?
Well, I started off as a board member.
Okay.
And that was, oh my gosh, Dre was like 6, something like that. So I started off as a board member, had to get off for a while, for a year. After 6 years, you have to get off. And then the previous executive director asked me to come back. So the way this all started, he asked me to join the board. I had not thought about board service, community service, didn't know a thing about it, hadn't thought about this type of thing. But, it was servicing my neighborhood, so I thought, sure, why not? I figured I would give it a try. And then whenever he got sick, I asked the board. He had already had me, going to different meetings and things like that, setting up tables. So I asked the board if they would allow me to step in and help while he was out. And they did. And then they decided, okay, well, we're going to keep you on. When he came back, we're going to keep you on. And then whenever he retired, subsequently passing away a couple of months after that, I applied for the position and then I got it. So.
Were you nervous about taking that position?
Yes. Nervous. Actually, nervous doesn't describe the way I was feeling. Like I thought I can do this, and this is what I said to the board. That's how I sold it to them. Like I can do this, but I still wasn't sure. Mm-hmm. So I was afraid that I wouldn't be as good as I needed to be. And so I was very apprehensive with particular things. There was a lot of stuff that I still needed to learn. Unfortunately with him being sick, he wasn't able to really, show me a lot of things because he was sick. So there was kind of stuff that I just had to either bumble upon or somebody else had to tell me and help me out. So yeah, I was nervous. I was apprehensive. At first, I was like, yes, so I'm going to apply. Whenever, he retired, I said, I'm going to apply for the executive director's position. And then I changed my mind. And I said, you know what? I decided, no, Dre was about to graduate. And I thought, you know what? This could be my opportunity to do something else. So maybe I won't. Some of that was because I was afraid. Mm-hmm. And some of it was because I wanted to be able to, leave whenever I wanted to. One of the board members, the board president, said, no, I want you to apply for this. And so, I did. And it's been a transformational thing for me.
How so? Like how do you say you gain more confidence or like in your abilities as an executive director, but did you also see that confidence like translate to other parts of your life?
Well, definitely, I watched me become stronger. I watched me become more confident, but that took a lot.
Okay.
So, with him leaving, he had been the executive director there for 17 years.
Ooh.
Right. And everybody
knew.
knew.
Female director?
No, I'm the second. There was one before him. She was there for a year before he came along, and then he came along. But he had done it the longest. Mm-hmm. So, he already had a relationship with the people in the community. They all knew him. Some of them knew me because they had seen me at various things, but they did not know me, and especially in that capacity. So, and it was different for my board members. Some of them were new coming on. Some of them had been there for a while, but, they also didn't know how to go about doing this. Okay, so we got to hire somebody, and we got to make sure that money is still coming in. And so how do we do this? And so they brought somebody else on with me, and that seemed to further complicate things, at least for me. So for a long time, it was tension between myself and the board. Not that we were mad at each other. It wasn't like that. It was just tension of all of us trying to figure out how to make this work and how to keep Hope Station going. I think that people in the community were wondering what was going to happen with Hope Station, because all they knew was Jim. And with him not being there and me being, very new, they weren't sure of my abilities either. The board wasn't, I wasn't, they weren't. So it was, that first year was tense.
Yeah.
And hard. There were days where I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. Like,
you were ready to go.
I'm serious. And I just felt like, this is not, like, I can do some other things now, because as it was going, people knew who I was. I had gotten to the point where I was out a lot, which is what we needed to, to get people to be involved with Hope Station. I had to be out. I had to go to mixers, and I had to go to, various meetings. And so I spent a lot of time running. So, I was like, hey, you know what? If I want to go on to something else, this is on my resume now. I can do that. I can leave. There were a lot of days that were like that.
So what made you, because you said the first year you were, like, whew, you don't know if you can keep doing it. What made you realize, like, I got this. Like, I know that I'm killing this.
Well, I had taken a leadership class here called Leadership Cumberland.
Okay.
And that helped. It helped. It helped a lot. Because in that leadership class, you met every month, and, you had different people come in and talk to you about leadership, leadership in nonprofit. And so that helped. But what it was last June, I went to it was called Building One America. I went to like a 4-day leadership training in Ohio. And the trainer was very in your face. He was very, at first, I don't think any of us were feeling him. I'm serious. At first we were like, what the hell is he doing? But his style worked.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we had to do in one of the classes, he had us talk about what it was that got us into our roles. And there were things that we had to say out loud. So I had to face some things that I said only to myself, but I didn't say to others. Like, I didn't tell people how afraid I was, that I wouldn't be able to do it, that I wasn't smart enough to get the job done, that, what if I couldn't I didn't talk about that. But in this session, that was something that, I did. And I think that doing that helped me. Being able to say it out loud and being able to talk to people who were understanding because they were in the same type of position helped a lot. And, when he was, the sessions, that he did with us, it was, you have to take control of this. You have to learn how to do one-on-ones. You have to be more confident when you're asking for funding. Like, he had us do like a mock thing where we asked for funding, and he tore me apart. He did.
That's
because
what you needed, I guess.
He tore me apart because, honestly, the way I was asking, there was no way they were going to give us funding. He tore me apart. And so thinking about all of that, when I came back, I felt like, okay, this time I really got something out of this, and I need to learn how to apply this. So when I got back, it didn't happen right away, but I started implementing the teachings, that were done, and it helped. I started getting more confident, and as people started, I don't know how if buying in is what I want to say, but as people started. As people were listening to me and believing in what I was doing or what I was trying to do, that helped my confidence. It helped a lot.
So the Hope Station, the board has been like really supportive, and then in the town in general, like, you are really well known and really respected. But do you feel like at some point you thought that being a black executive director posed, and a black woman executive director posed other challenges that other directors who may have been a male or white didn't have to face?
Well, yes. First of all, just being black, well for both of them, because there were times whenever I would go to I remember I was invited, and I was new. Like, I had only been in the position, not even the executive director's position, but in the interim assistant executive director's position for about 2 weeks.
Okay.
And I was invited to a luncheon. We weren't given funding at that time, but I was invited to this luncheon. And when I walked in there, it was older white people that were in there, and I thought, they knew Jim.
Yeah.
You know, which was different. You know, Jim was a black man, and they've known him for years. So I walked in there, and it took a minute before I even took my coat off. Like, I don't even know
You was ready
if
to
I'm
hit the
saying,
door.
yeah, I was ready to bolt because I didn't know how they were going to receive me. And that just goes to show, you know, you think about those things at first. You know, you don't know how people are going to be with you, but they were some of the nicest people that I've met. You know, and so I came in there, and they were nice, and, you know, they talked highly about Jim, they talked highly about Hope Station, and so I felt better. But, you know, it's something that, yeah, I definitely have to think about whenever I step out, and, you know, I'm going to a meeting, or, you know, I'm going to something that I've been invited to. How am I going to be perceived, and how do I want people to see me? And learning to speak up as a black woman and speak my truth and be who I naturally am. That took a moment.
Okay.
But, you know, as I saw the kids that were coming in there, especially the little girls that were coming in there, I felt like it was important for me to stand true in who I am. And to let them see me with my braids on, to let them see me with my earrings, to let them see me being that, so that they would know that one day they could do the same thing. To understand and know that, yeah, and they see me walking around this neighborhood because I live in it. And that was important for them to see all of that, so that they can say, well, you know what? I saw somebody do that.
Yeah.
I can do the same thing.
So if you had advice to give to yourself 10 years ago, what would you say?
To trust myself.
Yeah. Like
Literally
10 years
to trust
ago,
myself.
did you think that you would be the executive director of Hope Station?
No. 10 years ago, I could not see past what I was doing at that moment. I was a single mom. By that time, Christian had graduated from high school. It was just me and DeAndre. And it was survival mode. So I got to take care of this guy. He's getting bigger. He's eating more. He's involved in, you know, sports. So I just need to survive. I just need to make sure that I'm paying bills, that we have a home to live in. I couldn't see, okay, this can be what your future is. I saw what my job was and just maintaining that job.
So how did you get past survival to really, you know, at a position now where you're a thriving role model to so many people?
I don't want anybody to think that I haven't spent lots of time being scared and insecure. What I had to learn to do was do it even whenever I was scared.
Yeah.
Like, just take the chance. If it doesn't work, you know, it won't be the end of the world. You'll survive. Just understanding that. And that was a mental thing. That was every day, every night telling myself that. Yeah. It was telling myself that I belong, because you don't know how, you know, just when I walked into certain rooms and I met certain people, it was still, I would go home at night and be like, oh man, I can't believe that I was just in the room with this person and this person. Like, these people are emailing me, these people are calling to talk to me. Like, I can't believe that that's me, you know. Like, it's, how did that happen? You know, I spent some time, you know, questioning when we got on. I don't know what it was, but thank you.
Yeah. So what you were just talking about, I think a lot of single moms can relate to. I feel like so many single moms have so much potential, have so many great ideas, but they're stuck in survival mode. Like, their whole thing is that they don't want to take time away from their kid, or they think they're taking time away from their kids to pursue their dreams. So what would you tell them on, you know, investing in yourself and taking that time will help to make their children's future better, but how do you get them to that point where they don't feel like they're taken away?
So actually, what I will say, you know, as a mom, of course, you know, kids come first, and they are going to be involved in different things. You know, you got schoolwork, you know, if they're in sports, you have that. I would not have been able to do this while DeAndre was in school.
Okay.
And while Christian was in school, because not this type of job anyway, because it takes a lot of, I'm out, I'm away from my home a lot. There are days whenever I don't get home until 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, and I'm gone all day, I couldn't have done that while he was in school. So I say that, while you're raising your children, go to school if that's what you're going to do, or a trade school. But in that meantime, while you're fostering what your dream is, doesn't mean that you don't do it, that you don't start working to achieve it. But think of ways that you can do it while you're still able to give that time that your children need. Because they need to, while they need you to, they need to see you fulfilling your dream, they also need to have that time with you in order to grow.
So I guess really the message is believe in yourself, investing in yourself, whether it be schooling, trade school, conferences, professional development, personal development, and just not setting any boundaries, I guess, in yourself. And then this doesn't just apply to single moms, that it applies to anyone, that there shouldn't be any boundaries on what you can achieve and what you can expect for yourself, and that if you just, do the work and stay open to learning and growing, that opportunities are endless. Like, I mean, you're a boss now, you're an executive director, but I'm sure this isn't where you'll end forever endeavor.
I think I will say this, this job has enabled me to meet a lot of different people. And, I've been able to, now say, okay, I think this is what my passion is, and this is what my calling is. And they're similar. My passion is giving back to my community and seeing my community thrive and being here for these kids. Like, I love whenever the kids come in. I got particular ones that come into my office when they come there for snacks. They come in just to give me a hug, or they come in to bring me stuff, that they've made. And I love that. And so that I'm very passionate about what I do. For me, though, that's not my calling. Like, it's not something that, will be forever. My calling, I think, is the activism that I do. And that is activism. It took a long time for me to understand that what I do for a living is activism.
Okay.
Making sure that, kids that look like me see me. And speaking up for those kids, and speaking up for the people in my community who may feel like, they don't have a voice, or people won't listen to them. I get to use, because of my position, I get to use my voice to speak up about things that are happening. And that's something that I feel like is my calling.
Yeah.
So, there's a difference there. But I say to anybody that, any female especially, that's trying to do anything, not just being a nonprofit, but anything, on any job, yeah, it can be hard. Whether you're single or not, it can be hard. And yeah, it can be very scary. But whenever you find yourself feeling scared, just say, what's the worst that can happen?
True.
What is the worst?
True.
Just like asking your mom for $1. What's the worst that can happen? She says no.
Can I have $1?
Of course. When I scrounge up my little change. but seriously, that's one of those things, is just understanding that, it may work, it may not, but you're not going to know if it works if you don't try it. Yeah. You just have to. And I can't tell you that, that you won't be afraid, because, that this doesn't mean, I'm doing this. This doesn't mean that I don't still fear. This doesn't mean that I'm, okay, I'm this, I'm that. It doesn't mean that. I still have, my moments of things, that I'm afraid of. And, well, what if this doesn't work? Or what if people don't believe in what I'm trying to do? It's, okay, so I'm going to try it anyway. And if they say no, they say no. Speak your truth. Speak what you want into existence. If it doesn't work that way, go back and try it a different way. Eventually it will work.
Yeah. So you're pretty much walking in faith. Walking in faith and trusting your abilities. Okay, Queen. Yes. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in. Take away some gems. Make sure you believe in yourself. Step out on faith.
Yes.
Invest in yourself. And, anybody can be a boss. Anybody. As long as you make sure that you're putting in the time, putting in the work. So if you like what you saw, please make sure you subscribe to my channel, Cleaning with Kai, and follow my next videos. Bye, Queens.
Bye, Queens.
You think you can edit some magic?
Oh.
I think that was good content.